Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this afternoon's session of third-party inspection workshops. Very pleased to be here this afternoon. We have our partners, our brothers, which is from JLG. We have two presenters here today who is going to talk us through some important points and factors of elevated work platform inspections. I will just give us a short introduction though and emphasize and echo the reasons why we're doing these workshops. It's been kind of part of the Middle East Regional Council's objective for some time now to work and assist the engineers whilst they're inspecting this type of equipment over 6 monthly or 12-month inspections. So as I say, the workshops are dedicated for inspectors and they're designed to help the engineers in the field. As I say, our goals from council is to certainly help this sector increase knowledge, skill and expertise, which they currently have and develop in themselves through the companies which they're currently employed with. So there's certainly over the next few weeks we have a variety of presenters and topics which we're going to cover. So certainly a big thanks goes out to the government support which you had from across the water in Oman. If I can call our friends of OPAL and PDO, Engineer Fahad at PDO has been a great help. ENAS on a local basis in the Emirates, in the UAE, and Dubai Municipality. So, you know, a big echo and a big support in ARM from government level, and it's been outstanding. Also talking about support manufacturers, the moment we started putting this program together for the inspectors, you know, all the leading manufacturers have certainly all come on board and certainly helping us reach out to this sector. So it's certainly it's a good old journey which we're going to walk you through over the next few months. We think we have around about 14 months ahead of us, and we'll aim to do one session per month. The next presenter which I'll introduce is a very good friend of mine. I've known Phil for maybe 10 years now, maybe longer than this, and I've seen Phil running around the Middle East the same as myself. Currently Phil is employed with JLG as a senior service manager in the MEA region, and as I say, Phil is certainly an outstanding character for knowledge, skill and expertise in the field of working with elevated work platforms. So we will have a question and answer session. Normally we would run it as the presenters presentations are going, but on this occasion we'll ask for questions, let them come in through the presentation, and we'll address them then towards the end of the session. So certainly I hope that you have a strong coffee on your lap and a pen and pad ready for the questions for the presenters. We have Abriz Ahmed also, who is the training manager for JLG and parts manager. So again, two very knowledgeable presenters in the field of working with elevating work platforms. So I'm just going to hand you over to Phil Jones for the next session. Good luck, guys.
Share your Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much, Jason, for the introduction. I'm sure it's bigged me up, which is always nice to hear. Yeah, we've got myself and Breeze Ahmed today, where we're going to give you insight into JLG and into the inspections that you do on a daily basis. Okay, so I'll start my I'll start the presentation now. Sorry about that, technical issues. Okay, so just a JLG overview. We are a leading manufacturer of aerial work platforms and telescopic material handlers. Founded in 1969, built the first aerial work platform in 1970. Over 4,000 employees in 40 locations. Widely recognised as the first choice by professionals worldwide. An Oshkosh Corporation company, 395 on the 2019 Fortune 500 list. Because innovation never stops, JLG began because John L. Grove had a vision. Not only did he set the tone for our company, but he raised the bar for our future leaders and the industry as well. Here's just a small sampling of the ways we continue to innovate. As you can see, we're worldwide. You can see from Europe, from the US, Australia, China. We have factories in the US. We have factories in China. We have factories in China, and three factories in Europe. One in Mexico. We all have. You can see by the symbols on the bottom left corner. Some we have customer care centres, some just match up manufacturing, spares parts department, depots, engineering centres and sales offices. The JL corporate history. 1969, JLG Industries included Inc., should I say, is founded by John L. Grove. 1970, first machine. 1973, first scissor lift produced. 1991, first vertical mast lift. And in 2002, first European designed telehandler. 2004, acquired Delta Manlift and Liftlux brands. 2005, a global alliance with Caterpillar, which is still ongoing. Oshkosh in 2006. We opened a Tianjin, China, our manufacturing plant in 2010. In 2011, Medius in Romania opened. 2011, 2014, 1850s? 1850s were produced. And in 2015, we acquired Power Towers. And 2019 was our 50th year with JLG. Corporate history. Sorry, it's the same. Okay. In 2008, JLG opened sales and support operations in UE to support MEA region. 2019, we brought out our telematic system, Clear Sky. 2010, the compact roller range. And in 2012, we introduced SkyGuard, which is an anti-entrapment device for boom lifts. 2015 was the telehandler. And in 2015 also, Power Towers. 2019, we have EDS system. In the emerging markets, this is our team in the Middle East. On the top left-hand corner is the Breeze. He's the parts and training manager. Myself on the right. Underneath we have Parthiban, our service engineer. He's also from India, based in the UAE. And Mohammed Wakas Tariq, he's from Pakistan, also based in the Middle East, in Dubai. If you ever want to contact JLG, you can email us on miaservice@jlg.com. This will be shared after the training. Right, just a brief going over the machines, in case anybody doesn't know what parts of the machines are. We have the booms, and on the booms we have platforms. We also have the jibs, in most, yeah, and then we have the fly boom, the main boom. Now this is really important that you understand the difference between the main boom and the tower or the lower boom. We have turntable and the frame or chassis. Same on the scissor lifts, platforms, platform extensions which slide out or power out. We have the scissor arm stack, lift cylinders, and leveling jacks on some models, not all models. So how do we recognize the size of these machines or what the meaning is? So obviously on the scissor lift there, you see the 530 LRT. So the 530 meaning height in feet. So it will be 53 feet. That will be working height. Okay. And then the LRT is large and rough terrain. Okay. Now we can move to the boom and we have 450 AJ. Again, the 4.5 is in feet. The A is to say that it's articulated, and the J is for the jib. With the 660 SJ, again the same. 666 is the height. S this time is for the straight boom, and again the J for the jib. Now we have also a compact crawler range, or spider, as a lot of you will probably refer to them as. This is our newest one, which is the X33JP. So this time we've moved into meters. So 33 meaning 33 meters. The J is for the jib again, and the plus is mainly for the new system of this machine, an improved system. We also have the electric scissors. Now we're back to the 3246, which is the 32 is the platform height in feet, and the 46 is machine width in inches. The ES simply has electric series. Now then, JLG models. We have articulated booms, which include 450 AJ, 340 AJP, 520 AJ, 600 AJ, 800 AJ, 1250 AJP, 1500 AJP, and E450 AJ. Now we go on to the straight booms or telescopic booms. We have the 460 SJ, 660 SJ, 860 SJ, 1200 SJP, 1350 SJP, 1500 SJ, E600 JP. On low level access, we have the Eco Lift, the Pico Lift as examples. And in compact crawler range, we start at X13JP all the way up to the X33JP. So we go into the AWP MUPS definition and types. A mobile elevating working platform is a mobile machine which consists as a minimum of a working platform with controls, an extending structure and chassis that is intended to work at height. AWPs and MUPS are also known as access platforms, cherry pickers, could be date pickers actually in these in our region, powered access, aerial platforms, boom lift, scissor lift, compact crawler, vertical lift. So let's look at boom lifts. Comes in two types, in articulated and telescopic versions. Just a couple of examples. Then we have the telescopic boom lift. Again, some examples. So the platform for two-person operation normally is the 230 kg capacity. Some models also have available in 450 kg capacity. These are mainly the ultra booms, but we'll come to that a little bit further on. We have diesel and battery powered. Hybrid are also available. JLG models available from 12 meters to 57 meters working height. Accessories available for specific segments of the construction world. Machines sold in MIA are of Middle East spec options include 4-wheel drive, foam-filled tyres, hydraulic oil cooler and Skyguard. Scissor lifts. We have compact and large models available. Battery powered scissor lift, normally for indoors, but they can be used outdoor with an outdoor rating. And diesel powered scissor lifts. Bigger platform with 2 or more persons platform capacity ranges from 230 kgs to 900 kgs. Diesel and battery powered. JLG models available from 8 meters to 18 meters working height. Accessories available for specific segments. Machines sold in MIA are of the Middle East spec. Options include 4-wheel drive, foam-filled tyres, hydraulic oil cooler, double deck extension and levelling jacks for diesel machines. We have vertical lifts available in push around and drivable options. You can see from the pictures on the right hand side. And down below we have the push around vertical lift. Small platform size from 1-man basket to maximum 2 capacity from 135 kgs to 230 kgs. This is most important to have a look at this when you're inspecting the machines so you know what the maximum capacity is. And make sure they've got the right decals on. Available as battery powered only. JLG models available from 8 meters to 14 meters working height. So let's just go into the categories of MUPS and AWPs. So obviously in IPAF, we have a statical vertical, which is Cat 1A. Group A, where the vertical projection of the centre of the area of the platform at the maximum chassis inclination specified by the manufacturer is always inside the tipping lines. Cannot be driven at height. This is the AM series. We also have a static boom, which is category 1B, or group B, where the vertical projection of the centre of the area of the platform at the maximum chassis inclination specified by the manufacturer may be outside the tipping lines. Example there on the right, which is the X20JP. These are more familiar, obviously, to most of the operators. The mobile vertical, which is category 3A, or group A, where the vertical projection of the centre of the area platform at the maximum chassis inclination specified by the manufacturer is always inside the tipping lines. Available both for indoor and outdoor use. Available also with large capacity. The platform goes up or down vertically over the frame. Can be driven and steered at height. Electric versions made mainly for indoor use. And rough terrain engine powered versions also available. The example on the right is the ES scissor lift, the electric scissor lift. And the fourth category is the mobile boom, which is category 3B or group B, where the vertical projection of the centre of area of the platform at the maximum chassis inclination specified by the manufacturer may be outside the tipping lines. Example is our articulated boom, the 800 AJ boom lift. So the EMEA MUBE or AWP safety legislation, the requirements to operate a MUBE in the following regions: Europe, Middle East, Africa, Russia and India can really greatly vary. Generally speaking, the requirements are more stringent in Europe. They have a different certificate than most other areas. Russia and the Middle East, with Africa and India progressively adopting more stringent laws and regulations coming from more developed countries. Always consult local authorities to get the most updated information. Never operate a MUBE unless you comply with local laws or regulations. So, familiarization training. On top of being qualified as a MUBE operator, according to local regulations, each operator must also familiarize with the equipment he's going to work with. That's very important and something that you should all work on. Familiarization training is an important part of operator training, especially mentioned in the relevant articles of law. MUBE can differ substantially, different brands, different models, different controls. Always consult the maintenance manual. Imagine having to drive a new automobile which differs substantially in size, power, speed from one you mainly drive it yourself. Would you not need to familiarize yourself with a new car before driving at 100 kilometers an hour on the road? Of course you would. So, wheels and tires then. On the MUBEs, tires are often foam filled to increase weight of the wheel assembly or ballast and protect the tire against punctures. On off-road equipment, tires profile suit the purpose. The wheel tire assembly is an integral part of the weight ballast of the machine, and as such it should be inspected, maintained and replaced only with the approved parts. Non-marking tyres are available for indoor use. Checking the wheel nuts should be part of a periodical inspection. Remove from service wheels a damaged tyre thread or damaged rim. You can see over on the right hand side, just an example on the 800 AJ, they're just checking the tyres for damaged thread. Quick introduction to the hydroelectrics. Just a quick sketch. This shows typical hydraulic circuit working in a MUBE. The operator moves the joystick, sending an analog signal to the platform module. Okay, I won't go into this too much. I'm not sure everybody understands this, but the platform module communicates with the ground module through the CAN bus circuit. As you can see, the ground module enables a proportional signal, which is milliamps, to the relevant proportional solenoid valve on the hydraulic distributor, which diverts the oil coming from the pump to the cylinder through the holding valve. The cylinder extends in this example on the right. So here we have dangers with the use of AWPs. This is just a quick picture. MUBEs are very safe machines designed with the highest standards in mind. However, there are a number of dangers associated with operating a MUBE, mostly related to site conditions, weather conditions, unsafe operation and human error. Accidents happen sometimes. The good news is it is possible to prevent them. Just a few pictures we've seen. Accidents have a high impact on our society. Here are just some reasons. Physical and psychological damage to the employees, social cost to support families of employees, legal costs, temporary closure of the job site to allow for investigation, equipment and personal downtime and penalties. I think everybody should realise that when you're inspecting a machine, you need to make sure that you're happy with the standards of that machine and it applies to the operation manual that you should be looking at. Because at the end of the day, you don't want this to be happening when you've inspected a machine. Just some accidents by type taken from IPAF. Fall from platform is very high. as is electrocution. But you can see there's also mechanical and technical errors. There is really no need to panic. AWS is safe to work and if used properly. It's an accident report. So we come to the machine. So pre-use checks, okay? The following pre-use checks should always be carried out. There should be evidence of periodical inspections or presence of a valid CE certificate. Well, a CE certificate only if it's a CE built machine, okay? You will not see one of these, a CE certificate. You will see a certificate of test and thorough examination, which you can see there. That will be on every machine that's delivered. Any new machine that's delivered will have an original certificate of test, and you can always ask for this. Okay, they should be able to provide this. If not, you can contact us and we can provide one for you. So there should also, in the black box, in the platform, on the scissor lift and the booms, should be a printed copy of the manufacturer's user manual in the local language. Okay, this is not always possible in some languages, but definitely, most definitely in English. Okay. So we have a walk around inspection. So just an example of a walk around inspection guide. This is just the 460. Again, so if you go back to the example at the beginning, the 460 means 46 feet and it's a straight boom and it has a jib. Okay, so you should be consulting the manual as for your walk around. We have also available, we have inspection reports. These are available on the JLG website. This one's for a boom lift or a trailer mount. I'm not going to go through every tick box, but it basically goes through everything that you should be checking, and you can tick yes, no, corrective action needed, or not applicable. Okay, because some of the things on a trailer mount, for instance, won't be on a boom lift and vice versa. Okay, we also have one for scissor lift. The same again applies. You will see certain things on some scissor lifts that not on others, so that would come under the NA box, and you have the Y and the yes and the no and the corrective action. Okay. So we're now going to a little bit of a coffee break, and then the presenter will change to my friend and colleague, Ibreez Ahmed. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. As been introduced, my name is Ibrahim Ahmed. I'm in charge for training, technical training and parts manager for the region for Middle East, Africa, India. Uh, my point is we'll be talking about the uh, walk around inspection. We will be looking into the what we'll go into a video first of all. Checking about how we'll do the walk around inspection as per the JLG standard. So just have a look at the video, and we will go further about detail in how to go the functionality and walk around inspection. I'm sorry for that. You can't hear the sound of the video. So what we are trying to explain through this video is we want to explain you that okay, how to do the inspection, the walk around inspection. The walk around inspection is very important because it's not only if we need to see the manuals are available, as what my friend start with it, you need to see that even the test certificates of the machine should be is there in the box. We see all the operator manuals are available. We will also go through that all the there's no leakages. We see all the components, all the like the fitments are there, the hoods are properly locked, the platforms, all the functions are properly working. So that's what we are trying to explain through a video, going through each point. And this I'm sorry for that, it didn't work out on the video. It's not, you can't hear about it, but this is what we try to explain. Going back from the earlier, we please be sure whenever you inspect the machine, please look into the test, the every machine is having a manufacturing test certificate. So that test certificate should be there in the box, and you need to ask the owner of the machine to provide a test certificate. I think that is more required because it will be a reference for you that machine has been tested from the manufacturer point of view, with year of manufacturing is available, and I think more specific information is a CE machine or NC machine. So that's something which we need to look into whenever you're doing inspection of a machine. So I will be moving forward in my presentation now. I think there is also a functionality check video, but I think we will go in a later in after that. So I will just talk about the personal. I will not show you the video, but I will just go through the presentation of that. So just a minute. Let me move it to the present. The one. We'll start a video. Okay. Then we'll start a video now.
JLG Industries presents the walk-around inspection for JLG boom lifts. You will learn how to conduct a proper walk-around inspection. By viewing this video, you are accepting responsibility for safe and proper operation of your machine and for complying with all applicable laws and regulations covering its proper use. You must not operate any machine until you have read and understood the operation and safety manual and any other required manuals, and have completed training under the supervision of an experienced and qualified operator. This video is one part of JLG's safety video series and is intended to serve as a supplement to your machine's required manuals, located in the manual storage folder on the platform. These documents must be kept with the machine at all times, and if not available, must be obtained by contacting your local JLG distributor or at www.jlg.com. Before using each day, or when changing operators, you must conduct a pre-operational check of your machine. This video focuses on the walk-around inspection only. Always refer to your operation and safety manual for the complete pre-start inspection procedure. The walk-around inspection ensures that there is no visible damage. Although this is a visual inspection, use your other senses to help determine the machine's condition. The machine shown in this video is the
So we
in addition to any other criteria mentioned. Do not overlook the visual inspection of the chassis underside. All control markings, decals, and placards must be present, clean, and legible. For the 800 AJ, inspect the following parts: the platform assembly, entrance, control station, and foot switch, the rotator assembly, pivot pins, and articulating jib, the power track, all valves and switches, the spindles, the drive motors, brakes, and hubs, the wheel and tire assemblies, the turntable bearing and pinion, all doors and latches, all pumps and hoses, the hydraulic oil level, the ground control station, the swing motor and brake, the tie rods and steering linkages, the oscillating axle, the engine oil supply and filters, the hydraulic and engine system components, and all boom sections and cylinders. Check the machine for modifications to original components. Verify that any modifications have been approved by JLG. This concludes the walk-around inspection. To review, perform a visual inspection of the machine. Always refer to the operation and safety manual when doing the inspection. Ensure the machine has a full tank of fuel or a fully charged battery. And if you find any damage or discrepancy, remove the machine from service. Report the problem to the proper maintenance personnel. Do not operate the machine until it is declared safe for operation. Conducting a proper walk-around inspection is one part of your pre-operational check that helps you to complete your work safely. Safe operation is critical to avoid potential hazards. Remember, you are responsible for completing the proper training, for reading and understanding the required manuals, and for complying with all applicable laws and regulations. If you require further clarification on operating your machine, contact JLG Product Safety and Reliability at 877-554-7233, +1 717-485-6591 if outside of the United States, or by email at productsafety@jlg.com.
Okay, great. So you guys have looked into the video where we try to explain some key points, which is normally when we do an inspection of the machine, we miss some of the point was made, basically the operational side of it. Even once, if you are not an operator of the machine when doing inspection, you can ask the operator to follow the sequence of inspection. Why we need it? Because it's just to check the initial requirement that oil is being checked, the guys who are testing it, it's everything machine is fully been tested. During the inspection, it need to be passed and need to be followed. I also add up a point while doing an inspector who's doing it, in my personal opinion, he should know how to operate a machine. And I will also put in place that the inspectors are following up. Inspectors are following up that they are IPAF operator 3A3B before they do the inspection of the machine. So these are some particular points we need to look into it. What we will be looking at, like the operation of the functionality of operation of the machine, the ground functions are working. So yeah. So these are the so these some other points which we'll be looking into. It is basically the operational side of the machine, right? Before we just jump directly go it, we need to be sure that that we are checking the aspect of like in the engine oils, the hydraulic oil, and all the basic necessity before doing it, because it's not to be ended when somebody doing inspection of the machine and end up at a height and machine gets stuck because of no engine oil, and then engine get failed, and then you are stuck at the height. So that's the basic information which we need. Either if you are on the thing, and for you guys as inspector, I will suggest to have an IPAF operation certification, like to be done an operator. And then further, if you are not a person who are guys who are operating it, you should ask this question: have they been certified by IPAF? They know how to operate the machine, so that there should be some certification body in place. And then they should also follow these checklists before operating. You as inspector should always raise this type of particular question. They should do a daily check on the machine, especially when you are inspecting a machine. Then next very important point is the functionality check, because we don't want somebody jump on the platform and go at the height and stuck up. So they should check the functionality of the machine from the ground, and the next step is they should do the functionality check from the platform. If all the functions are working, then if you're testing the machine, the functions are working properly. That will be you will check all the emergency, the toggle switches are okay, the decals are available, and if you find anything abnormality on the things, please tag it, isolate the machine, remove the key, and tell the operator do not operate the machine until you get a healthy certificate for this machine, because that you will not pass the inspection and you will isolate and report it. It's very important for a safety of an operator or safety of the operation of the machine, that strict rules need to be implemented. It's very strict, because when we talk about a MUP, we need to be taking care of it, and that is what our objective. When JLG, John L. Groove, innovate this machine, his objective was just working at height at safely, and we as either a manufacturer or you as inspector, we have given a right for you to follow the sequence of things, just not to have end up in any incident. Control familiarization, that is very important, especially as an inspector. You must be familiar about how to operate this machine. And first of all, I might personally say you should also go for an IPAF certification. It's not only inspection, but you should also know how to operate, and you should have a 3A and 3B operator license with you. If you don't have, and you're using a third party, or an operator to do the inspection, they should be familiar with it. So in our case, whenever you press a foot switch, which is basically enable switch, which allow you to operate the machine. When you're starting a machine, you just need an emergency switch to make it on. Start the machine from here. From your right side, the second toggle switch, which will allow you to start the engine, and then all the functionality of the machine is very self-explanatory by decal. But overall, person who is doing the inspection should know how to operate the machine, and he also should be a certified. That is my key objective here to explain. There are safety features on this machine. Why we have safety features? Every switches, sensors are there for machine to work under the umbrella. Under the envelope. The question point here is: are we checking these safety switches during the inspection? For that, this is what I'm trying to explain here: the limit switches, the functionality, why it's important to do it. So when we talk about safety of the MUP, you will see in a put hole protection on the scissors, boom control system. Boom control system, basically there are if we go on a bigger booms, they have got more than 30 to 50 limit switches, which make the machine to work in a safety envelope. The next thing is high drive cutout. When you lift the boom up at the height, it should slow down the speed. That is something which every inspector should look into it while testing it. Drive orientation switch. From 2003 onward or 2004 onwards, we in JLG we become a mandatory drive orientation system, which basically when you turn the boom, rotate the boom, crossing the wheels like 30° on right side or 30° left side, the driving will be not activated until you press the right corner switch, which is called DOS, which is drive orientation system. It's a safety device. It should be working. It's basically for safe operation of the machine, because operators are not familiar machine is in which direction, is in the forward direction or reverse direction. Just for a mistake, this DOS is being installed. In 800 AJ, upright monitoring system, as what my colleague Phil have explained you the nomenclature of the machine, main boom and tower boom, and between both the booms we have a upright, which always should be perpendicular to the machine when you're lifting. There is an angle sensor which is monitoring that system. If machine is out of that, it will stop. So that's need to look. Extend axles. So in all the ultra booms, the boom above 15° will go until unless extend of the axle is there. There's a green light which give it. So all these need to be inspected while you are inspecting a machine. Outrigger and leveling jack. In a scissors, we have an outriggers. So it's not only that every time should be there. This is why I'm asking you should have a configuration or a test certificate of the machine when you are inspecting it, because you will know that a specification of the machine. Then leveling jack is again we need to look. We talk about like we either is a scissor or a crawler. We need to check if they are working as per that. Oscillating axle lockout. I've been doing a lot of information how oscillating axle lockout work. This is like whenever your machine is in transport position, oscillating axles work. What is oscillating axle? Oscillating axle is basically same like a shock up in your car. So it will be working when machine is in transport position. Once you are lifting 15° above or turning 30°, oscillating axle get locked for the safety of the machine. We need to test while we doing inspection of the machine. All above safety features is being controlled by limit switches, angle sensor, pressure sensors, and load sensing sensors which are installed on the machine. So this is the points which we need to look into it while we are testing the machine. Very important topic. This is a very inspectors always look into it, is the load sensing system. So there are this has been installed. First of all, let me talk about different standards, CE and NC. Recently, the new law come into place in NC, which has been revised, which is quite similar to CE, which is familiar that every NC machine as of 2020 will have load sensing system as a standard feature. But in past, if you talk about domestic machines, the NC will say load sensing system is not a mandatory requirement. So you can't fail the machine because it's not been installed. It's still machine are safe to operate, because if you put more weight, there are other safety switches and sensors which work. So again, when we look CE and NC machine, we have to look in that standard. LSS can be installed in NC domestic machine also. It's available as a safety. But what is the job of load sensing system? If you load more than the weight allocated, which is weight on the platform, it will give an alarm. It will not allow the platform to go at the height. So this is being controlled on the downside of the platform. We have got 4 cells which is measuring it, and on the module which is on the back side of the platform, which read the value and stop the function. Whereas in the new machines now, we have got single cell which work as like a cantilever type. So once the platform is being overloaded, it will immediately cut off the function. It will not allow the machine to move. We need to test this, how it works. Again, as we say, again, EN 280, 230, there is a new standard called MSSO, Machine Safety System Override. It's been installed for a safety of an operator. If by chance in a cage you get stuck, you from the ground side you can press the MSSO but switch, and you can make the machine to bypass the safety, the sensor, and make the machine out of the structure if get stuck. So this is an education which we need to look at, and we have to measure it, how we are working. This is very important and a safety things, just to avoid any overload or a place when people start loading at 1 ton capacity and or something to bring it. So we need to test it and need to be sure it's working. Emergency descent is there, like a auxiliary power in our machines. How to use it? Instructions already available in operation manual, so you have to use. And I always suggest that every time before operator being trained or operation of the machine, especially when you do inspection of the machine and you are going at the height, you should know how the emergency systems are working. So it's very clearly explained. It's work. You just need to press the switch down, the start switch, which you can press it down, and then you can press the foot switch and operate the function to bring the machine down. But every inspector should be aware about emergency descent. We should not wait for emergency to come and then you should educate yourself. Okay, so that's very important, and there should be a decal which give all this explanation. Then please check it that information is clearly available on the machine. Rescue plan, as per the standards. Every specialty site, the rescue plans are there. So operator or inspector, before going or testing a machine, they should have a rescue plan. So somebody should be there in the ground when you're testing a machine at the height. So something documented. You can ask this question from the operator, and should be seeing that the rescue plans in place. High drive cutout. I think this is what I was explaining you earlier. When machine is in a transport position, you can drive at a speed. I'm just talking about across the model, or approximately like between 4 to 6 km/h. But when you lift the boom at the height, when you talk about ultra boom, it's 0.8 km/h. So are we testing it? If no, we should start implementing, because we should test it. Machine is working. If it is working at when your machine is in transport position, and if it's working at a 0.8 km/h, that means the limit switches is not working or it's getting stuck. So that need to be rectified before passing the machine from doing a third-party inspection. So this need to be looked into it. Grades and slope. Once you go at the grades, like you're climbing the machine on a mountain or on a slope, the speed of the machine is being stopped, must be slowed down, and there will be information coming on the machine that about because you can't lift the boom up, or you can't lift the scissor up. So these type of information should always be available on and detailed information available in the operation manual. Each model have got different stability and grade depending on 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. So all this need to be looked into it before checking. You should have a detailed information, can get it through either from test certificate or machine configuration. As we mentioned, the plates are there is a plate which is fixed on the machine, which give you a machine ID plate, or which is a passport of the machine, which give you the machine serial number, which is an identification of the machine. You can also see the tilt, how much tilt machine can work. From there you can specify that this machine is C certified or is an NC certified, because in an NC you will see on the JLG below on the plate, you will see the NC standard 92.6 or 92.2. From that information you can understand the standard of the machine, what capacity machine has been designed, 270 kg or 450 kg. That's all specification will be addressed. So this is the first checkpoint for any inspector. Look the specification in. Currently on every machine we are punching the serial numbers also. That's also need to be looked into it, because I've seen come across there's a case where somebody have put a wrong plate, a wrong area of manufacturing. Just to avoid that one, every JLG machine have got test certificates. Please refer to that just in case to avoid that one. We should not certify the machine as 2015 if you don't see the test certificate, or JLG test certified will clearly give you. If you have any challenge, as my colleague have said, we are 4 people in the office having mes service@jlg.com. You can send us email, we can share you test certificate for that. And if machine is tilt, you will see a tilt sensor fault code. Drive orientation system. Whenever you swing the machine across the wheel, immediately a function will not allow you to drive it because operator is not familiar with that. Is it in a front direction or right? So if you move a joystick in a front, but if you turn the machine 180 degree, it can drive it on a back direction. So we have to avoid this case to make it turn. So that's to take care of the safety when you're operating it. DOS is working or no, you please look into it. There's on the right side, which is drive orientation switch, need to activate it, and it's having a time lag of 3 seconds. So in 3 seconds, you need to engage it and operate the drive. So please test it before you're operating it. Driving at height, again, when you have to test driving at height and the machines are perfectly on the slope, accordingly we will test the machine if functions are working or no. Operator should be extreme taking safety when you are operating the machine. So you should walk around and test the ground area. So that's all information we are sharing it, because just to be that inspectors also, when they are testing the machine at the height, take care of the safety that ground surface are proper and all. This is an additional information. You can tow the machine, you can release the brakes on the wheels, and you can tow the machine. This is an additional information, but as an inspector, you should be aware about it, how to tow the machine. You can't allow to make maximum distance, but in case if some case you need machine to be towing, you can do that by just manually releasing the brake. Is an additional information which we are sharing with you. We can see the wind ratings. All the inspectors should have an anemometer with you in case tested before you go at the height. Consider wind rating. So these wind ratings are available on the plate as a mandatory requirement of NC2, the new standard, and even CE and NC new standards comply, say that you should be on the plate, should mention it. You also look into the new machine, especially when talking about from 2019 or 20 machines, they will surely give you the wind rating on the plate. So I'm repeating again, I'm not saying the older models, but as per the new standard which come into place, we have the wind rating available. So the impact is, because if you cover this baskets with a banner or with any plate, this is a good example where you can see a machine can tip over because of the plates being covered by the banner. So we need to be sure that there's no additional things being added. As one of my friends have already mentioned about the tires, in tires also we need to be very sure that exact tires have been there, because what we are doing is stability of the machine. We use the same standard. Any addition on the product, it's not recommended. It's not AWP is very much sensitive in that case. So all standard manufactured provide parts need to be fitted. Overall, whenever you go on this machine at the height, keep yourself calm, be focused. Even if machine gets stuck at the height or if any other challenges, keep yourself calm. Don't be afraid of it. These machines been designed to work at the height safely. Any problems happen, it will always be under envelope. If you lose your focus or be out of the calm, more dangerous impact can happen. So please be calm and try to focus on the machine of the operation. How to work a smooth function. So we have got potentiometers on the machine, because as you see, toggle switches are there. So the joysticks are the two potentiometers which you can control. You can like how you control the fan by the resistance. This is how you control the two joysticks, which is basically flowing the machine. So you can operate the machine driving speed or the boom functions controlled by joystick. Further, the toggle switches, the main boom or a tower boom can also be controlled by the help of the potentiometer, which is a flow control knob, which control these functions. Very important. either you as inspector, whenever you're testing the machine going at the height, please wear the harness. And also, if you don't have harness, you're using a company harness, be sure that these harness are being certified. We either in IPAF or as a manufacturer, we do the inspection. You will see this being tested. There will be a like a expiry date or on each harness. Please look into it before you jump on. You should know how to wear the harness. Harness should be properly tighted, and whenever you are connecting the lanyard on the proper places, not to be just because there is like impact. We believe that there's a 10 times of the force when you're thrown out of the platform, and that force will be only be there, can be holded on a proper location where you have used a harness. So there's a harness course. If you have any challenge, you can contact the Jason. He will assist you or arrange the harness course for you guys. Or if you don't have problem, you can reach us. We can also help you with that to teach you on that harness how to. But anyhow, everyone inspector, please be ensure that you are using harness when you jump in the platform. Don't never try to pass the machine with going up at the height without harness. Always test the machine, and I also want you to go at the height. And basically you should have 3N 3B license when you're operating, because you should know how to operate the machine. I've got lots of videos which can show how dangerous it is if you don't wearing the harness. Even if you're wearing the harness, how the guy's been thrown out. As I mentioned, you 10 times the force the person has been thrown out the platform. Lots of injuries or even a death been seen in the past. So please instruct whenever you even testing. Even if you're not operating the machine, please don't allow anyone to sit in the platform, because you will be a person in front of the incident happen in case, and if person lost a life, you will be also will be stuck up in this case. We don't want you to come into place because of someone error. Any error, any defect you see, you are an inspector, you have a right to highlight it. Any accidents, you come across, anyone, we as a part of a safety, highlight it to IPAF, highlight to us as a manufacturer. We are here to help and sort it out. We as a work as a team to people to work at the height safely, and people should feel safe. That is our objective here for doing all these courses. As a mandatory from 2000 I think 18 or 19, it's become mandatory that anti-entrapment device should be there installed on the machine. You should not allow or pass any machine which should not have a SkyGuard on JLG machine, or our competitor also have become mandatory from 2019 onwards. So any machine from 2019 onwards, if you look around, please be also say 2000 bit better 2020 machines, all the machine, please be ensured that should have an anti-entrapment device. How it works in JLG, whenever you touch the entry, they have got called SkyGuard, SkySense, and Skyline. Sorry, Sky is okay. Whenever you touch the machine, come across with a sensor, it will stop the function, and certain functions can be reversed for a second, just giving you more space for an operator to breathe. That's why it's a very, very important subject, because it's become mandatory now and at the construction side. So please be ensured that whenever you do inspection of the machine, these safety devices are already installed. If you don't find it, don't clear it, because it's a very safety features which has been mandatory as per the new standards. How it works is a 23 kg or more. When it touches the sensor, it will stop the function and reverse certain function. There is a video for that. Maybe in case you can also look on the YouTube, you can see lots of informations are available. Okay, so whenever, if anything you come across and any problems you see on the machine, please immediately stop the machine, and whenever you see a machine has been parked, ask the guy to park in a separate place, remove the key, and barricade the machine so no external or nobody will come across with it. Construction equipment or AWP need to be cared and separately. This is some basic information what we have tried to cover about the inspectors. They should care about it, and we are here to if you have any questions, please, especially related to JLG, we are here to answer for that. We will first of all we will take the questions which we received these questions from through the live chat. So I will talk about each questions. Let me go by one, and then we will take some direct questions from you. On tires, usually we find the bolts at the base of thread. Kindly explain the purpose of it. On tires, usually we find a bolt at the base of thread. Okay, you're talking about foam fill tires. So on these, basically, when you're doing a foam filling, they put the bolt on the one side of the tire. So when the foam filling has been done, and it need to be solidified. So this is of no use. Actually, tires can be there, cannot be there. It's basically it's doing nothing. It's basically you in a layman word I can say is basically a foam filled tires, and it's not a criteria for any testing. I think you can still pass the machine because it's just a bolt, just which if you once it gets solidified, it's very difficult to take out the bolt. So that's one of the reasons it's not coming out. But after certain operation of the machine, and here in the Middle East or in any part of the world, contraction and this, it will come out easily. So it's not a matter of testing it. It's just that it's a foam filled tire. Okay, so that's one of the. I hope I've answered your question in this case. Next question is insurance cost will increase and claim payment will depend on the company's ability of demonstrate good auditing and compliance. I didn't understand this question. Insurance cost will increase and claim payment will depend on the company's ability to demonstrate good auditing and compliance. I think it's not related to anything from the technical side of it. So I will just give this question to Jason. He will look into it and explain it because I don't know about anything about insurance. So BSE and 280 comes in whenever inspection of MU are talk about. How about the uses of BS 8640? Well, again, these standards are more often relates to the standard. If you see machines are there EN 280, again EN BS 8460. Let me look into it. What is of safe use? So they all standards relate to the safety operation of the machine. So when we either at 280 or 8460, 280 is more often related to the CE standard, which is recently in 2013, which has been implemented, and I guess it's a change in the manufacturing standard of a CE regulation. So again, don't correlate it. First of all, we need to be sure when you are testing a machine, is it a CE machine or is it an NC machine? So if you CE machine, then we need to be sure that EN 280 need to be followed. And if you have any question with that, you can still send us an email as what we send EMEA service. I think we will be end of the course of who are attending will be getting the email address from our side, which will explain it. So I hope I have answered this question for you. What about the machine prior to 2004? Do you still look for DOS? Well, again, safety standards being changed and it's still going to be changed. We have the DOS is, if it's not available in 2004 earlier machine, we can't do, because the total design of the machines being changed from 2003 2004. We have, just to explain you about technical, ADE system come into place in 2003 2004. So I don't think so that can be placed, because it's too older machine, which we can't. I don't think so can be implemented, can be added. That's a total change in the structure of design. Okay, going back to the down, is this only for JLG or what about upright, Skyjack, and not Genie? It's Genie. So all companies. This is a requirement of EN 280. So DOS is not from JLG. It's a standard requirement of the CE standard or EN. So I think even the new NC 92 point, this new standard will come into place, is a requirement. Everybody have to follow it. So that's everybody's, not JLG, but maybe I'm from JLG. I will explain about JLG only. Can you advise what other safety system sensors are there and their function if load sensing are not available? Do you advise that recertified machines which have no LSS? Well, if the machine, I'm talking about a domestic NC machine, they don't, and 2014 on older model, they don't have load sensing system. So we can install on these machines. So if it's again a risk assessment of the site, it's a requirement. So if site risk assessment say they need load sensing system, then need to be installed it. But if the site says that this assessment not required here, but again talking about the safety of the product, it's very mandatory requirement that if it's been not installed on that machine, there is a switch, capacity switch and elevation switch. Already the limit switches are there, which work as a safety. So if you put more load on, like on 1300, 1350 or 1200 ultra booms, there is on the pin, on the boom, on the pin on the back side, there is a load pin. So if you put more load with the help of shear gauge will applied and it will not allow the machine to lift up. So that's inbuilt is there. Now going to the next question, is it possible to get a boom down when it is extended fully out? Again, it's model specific. So it's model specific. When we talk about ultra boom, when you're coming down at fully, automatically it will telescope in. Very good question. In terms of 1200 and 1350, we have got a manual switch on the top of the side of the machine. So if you put an automatic, it will when you're bringing the boom down, it will automatically telescope in. So that's a very clear question, because we are teaching every operator, especially on ultra boom side. So it will automatically telescope in, because let's just give an example of 120 feet machine. Vertically it will go 120 feet, but I'm just giving a general specification, but on horizontally it will not go more than 90 or 100 feet. So vertical more, horizontal less. Okay, next question. Kindly provide information about operation at restricted and unrestricted area. Okay, this is the capacity of the machine. When you select like 230 or 450, that's basically restricted and unrestricted. So that is the explanation which we want to explain. Like restricted is 230 or 227 NC, so they are slight 2-3 degree variation. So it's a operation manual will give you this. Even if you see the chart, the envelope will changes. So envelope of 230 will be bigger, the envelope of 450 will be smaller. When you have a 3-person in the platform on ultra boom, you have 450 kg and a machine will not horizontally will extend and the envelope will change. So please refer to the envelope of the specification envelope of the machine. There is a chart for that which will refer to that. And operation side, is it safe to operate from ground control and elevate the people on basket? Let's assume people on the basket don't know to operate. Totally not acceptable. It's against any standard. Because guys at the height of 1850, just against the 56-meter, you can't communicate to the down guys, and you don't know what comes into place. Maybe you can crush the guys in the middle of somewhere. So we don't advise someone to operate the machine from the ground. It's totally unacceptable. If you see someone, immediately stop it. It's too dangerous. Next question. If JLG machine, most of the platform capacity selection is in pounds, which is always being misinterpreted by user for Middle East, don't you think rating in metric on machine can be said? Well, NC machine, again, we talk about two standards, NCC. If an NC machine comes to our region that have pounds and everything available, but if a machine comes from C, it will have, again, what machine you order, because in Middle East we don't have any standards. Whatever model comes, we accept it. So NC and C, whenever comes, again they follow the country specific metric system or the system whatever, and you can translate into the different language. And okay, these days it's easy to go to the Google and you can check it. Does MUE is having life expectancy, and that is after certain period it should not should NDT test, or if yes, please explain regarding during the life of the machine. Well, this is particular very difficult question in terms of explaining what you have to test. The machine is operator responsibility. We can't suggest the specification, because I'm just talking about a harsh environment like in a seaport and all. They do these type of testing. Again, that's why it's an operation requirement. Does IPAF have any? Okay. Some sizzle lift, we can see capacity variation based on the height. Is there any specific reason for that? I don't know which particular model you're talking about, but like just giving an example of ES scissors, there is called zone A and zone B. If I think this is your question, if I'm understood correctly. So zone A, zone B, basically working inside and outside. When you're working inside, you will lift to 32 feet. But when you're working outside, you will not go at that height because of the wind rating and all. So that is I think that's what we are trying to explain. I think if I've understood your question right. How about 6-month testing and overload test criteria? How much percentage of load we can keep in the platform? Well, specifically, I can say in this case is 6-month or 1-year requirement is depend on the country inspection criteria, because in certain, like in Europe, it's we identified as some country 1 year, some country 6 months. Is again it's a regular country-based regulation says. And in terms of capacity, 10 to 15%, normally 15% we say, because there is an engineering point of view, there is always a range which need to be accepted. You can't have 100% acceptance on that. So there should be a between 10 to 15% you have to go with. So if it's 230 kg, is there, you can say 254 or 260 kg should be acceptable. Sorry. May I know the most happening hazard while MUP arise? Operator error. So it's basically people don't understand the operation side of the machine when they're operating it, and people are not being educated how to operate the machine. So when you're going at the height, they don't see the like walking on the path of the machine. PDI is not being done properly, so there's some sensor switches can go the pre-use of the machine. So that's more often we have to look into it. Next question is how much will be the load test validation? How much will be the load test validation? I think that's already we answered 15% or 10 to 15%. How much overload managed on old? How is overload managed on old NC machine prior to 2019? As I mentioned you earlier, the load sensing system is not a mandatory requirement of NC. So especially on a domestic machine which is not allowed to move out from the America to our region. But as you know, we are a very open country where everything comes in. So you can still install a load sensing system on the machine, again, which is clearly answered to you earlier. Site requirement, like if site says we have a load sensing. Otherwise, this only thing is when you put 4 people on the platform or 5 people on the platform and want to up the backside, there is a capacity switch which should stop it. Ultra boom, yes, because having load pin can stop it, but I am sure on the smaller boom there will be cut out around 20 to 30%, where automatically function will cut out immediately because the pressure sensors, pressure of the machine is being monitored with that. Next question is the frequency of MUPS through inspection should always be every 6 months. This is specific, I think, authority requirement. If Dubai municipality or country-wise municipality requirements are there, country-wise requirement we have to follow with that. So it's all variable according to that. We can't. It's some countries say six months, some say 1 year. It will reduce as you low down, right? What? I didn't understand. It will reduce as you low down. What do you mean by that? I didn't understand this question, so it's not full in detail. If traveling near an open trench which has a depth of 2 by 3, what is the minimum distance to maintain? Open trench. I guess it's a ground condition is very important. I think we need to look into the place, if it's a soft place or risk assessment should be an answer in this case. I think the safety side of the area you have to do ground inspection, you have to make a risk assessment before going to these locations, because if we don't know, maybe a soft areas there can tend to a dangerous location. Operator responsibility, and I think again the operator should be an IPAF operator, so he will be understanding the ground stability of the machine. Okay. And you can also refer to the IPAF website. They have a detailed information about the open trench and the ground condition. All this point you can look to the website if you can see. Kindly advise on the jib deflection. Check on the move lift. Jib deflection. Are you talking about swinging of jib on ultra booms? If I understand correct, there's like a 55 degree. Or you are talking about leveling of the platform. There are 2 questions which I understand, but it's all related to the manuals. You can refer to the manual. It will explain you there how it works. If a jib is in 860 and bigger boom, there is called leveling, jib leveling, or sorry, platform leveling, which is sometimes people understand as a jib deflection. That can be calibrated. But there is certain variation is there when you're lifting up, the platform goes slightly back, and when you leave it, as I say, is an electronic leveling, so it will manage from the ground condition. Does 1250 have got 100 feet outreach? Again, it's I have to go to the specification of the machine, and we need to check. You can always refer, because again this is variable account is having two capacity. So when water capacity you selected, it variable. So please refer to the specification of the machine. Any expiration date on the test certificate provided by you? No, because that's been test certificate once we manufacture the machine. That's why we don't have it. And for that reason, we need a third party to inspect the machine. That is a reference point when the machine is being tested and what standard we follow, that our test certificate refer to that. Further, inspection need to be carried out by third party as well as a distributor of the region. When inspecting new, which one will have priority? Is that EN standard or a manufacturing standard? Manufacturers follow the EN standards, so both is being followed. Okay, so many questions. For a new machine having LSS system, is it feasible to do overloading testing either by 10% or 15%? How we are going to be bypass the sensor, as I believe nowadays is mostly processor based sensor? Well, there are two things need to understand. Bypassing is not been accepted in any case. Any safety system bypass, we don't prefer it. But again, in safer zone or in CE, there we have got MSSO, machine safety system override. That only in case of emergency, when a platform gets stuck, you can press it, but you can't bypass it completely. You have to press the switch. Somebody on the ground is pressing it down and bringing the boom in a safer zone. So it's two function. You can't do it from the platform, only from the ground. Chip deflection. When we extend the full boom, it deflect. Is there any limitation or observation? I didn't understand what you mean by deflect. I don't think so. It's there a deflection is there. There is automatic platform leveling, which is how it's been. There is a 2-angle sensor which is working from the ground, from the gravity of thing. That's why when you are driving this machine on sand dunes, you will see the machine is always, because of the oscillating axles, always on the ground, but the platform is shaking because they have been managed by the help of gravity. I hope I have answered this question. Okay, the next is, if we found machine without manufacturer document, but when we are going function and load test, we are found it good. Well, again, it's your risk assessment, it's your inspection, but the manufacturing parameters, you should be aware about it. So if you're not, you can still, it's your choice. But if you have any question, we have already shared our email address. We have 4 guys available in the Middle East to help you, and we will be immediately helping you whenever time allowed. We will send you all the related question in that case. What is the maximum inclination or slope in terms of degree where MUPS can be safely used? It's variable with C and NC. So 3 to 5 degree, it's basically from between C to NC. So when please refer to the ID plate on the machine, it's always mentioned on the ID plate. Okay. Can we lower the boom if it is fully extended condition? Do we have any kind of safety device available on the MUP that will not allow us such operation? Yes, as I mentioned in my first course, there are safety switches and sensor. It will never ever allow a machine to come out of the envelope. It will always make you under the envelope. So how can high wind affect MUP operation? 12.5 meter per second. I think all MUPs have same standard. And if you reach above that, they can tip over the machine. So that is the standard we need to do. For that, inspector, whenever checking it, they should have they should have a tool to check this machine. So where we can find the acceptance and rejection criteria of the tire, any thumb rule. That's a very question related to the risk assessment. There is a criteria of tire policy. If certain people need any help, we JLG have got tire policy. We can share with you. Send us your email on, and we will share the tire policy. You can send it to meservice@jlg.com. We will send the tire policy to you. So that will be like your standard thumb rule how to check it. When contacting the one minute. When contacting the load test, what if the test weight is bigger than the platform? When contacting the load test, what if the test weight is bigger than the platform? Then either maybe some issue is there, so you contact the service guy to rectify it. It's a service related question, because if you are having a load test getting failed, that means either a sensor or or maybe a wiring having a faulty. So we need to contact the service or distributor, they will fix it. Any indication to know the presence of spark arrestor in JLG model? Mainly majority of JLG models have got spark arrestor inbuilt in the muffler, and that can be, you can get that certificate from the manufacturer. Means we as a manufacturer, you can send us an email, we can, but there will be no certification, because we can just confirm it. We will just give you a letter that this has been installed on the machine. How to check the condition of slew bearing of mute? Leakages, you can check for the leakage if there is any leakages there, and then DTI test. Okay, there's a DTI test is there, which if you need details in that concern, we send us an email, we will check. But I think more often on the service manual, these information is available, which can answer your this question. How to check the condition? Okay, what is meant by bi-fuel in the mute? A good example is our compact loader X23 or any M series model like M450AJ, which can operate by either by engine as well as by electric. So they are called bi-fuel mutes are available. X23 can be operated by electric as well as by engine. So when you're working inside, you can use, that's called bi-fuel. Inspection requirement for slurring. I don't understand slurring. Okay, that's basically what we already answered it. As to refer to the service manual, there's a test procedure mentioned on it. You can look into that. Which type of battery should be used in a mute? Again, which model we are talking about. A very not a specific question. I will refer to that as basically whatever we install on the machine should be used. Why I will never advise to buy from outside market, because the battery weight in especially in scissor is a counterweight. So if you change from one brand to another, you are affecting the stability of the machine. Going back to the next question. I will try to as fast as possible. So before climb, is the mandatory to all mute to have emergency? Yes, it's mandatory to have, because a part of a standard. Then does JLG equipment are equipped with no, JLG you have to buy separately. Before climbing to the descending or slope, what factor need to be checked? You need to follow what we have shown recently. A functionality test need to be done. And I think I have done all the answer to your question. Whatever comes, there are lots of questions further remain. I will please send us an email on meservice@jlg.com. We are always available to help you with that. And thanks for your time. And anything, I think Jason, we will look into it and we'll try to answer you next time. Okay.
Okay, so yes, I'm back again. Very informative presentation delivered from the guys at JLG. We had certainly a good chance to ask questions from the audience, which was very encouraging. Some of the questions were certainly very constructive, and I think it certainly gave you some answers, which kind of give you the answers for once you're in the field. So a couple of important points which I've picked up through the presentation. I think the first initial stage is, as an inspector, certainly you have a chance, and you have a chance to identify if a machine is fit for service, fit for purpose. So certainly as an inspector, you know, the walk around the machine is massively important. And I can't emphasize this enough, you know, checking two types of checks. So one is moving into the visual inspection, which then indicates the walk around, as the guys was talking or referencing to. Ideally, you're looking for any deflections or any fractures in welds, you know. So certainly the visual check is very important. And then moving into the function checks, you know, in a sense, you're actually carrying out a pre-use inspection. As a trend, we've always waited for the operator to arrive, but I think that as engineers, we have to really focus on how much knowledge does that operator have. So very important as an inspector. I think you have a unique chance to certainly have a think about you know, that type of inspection, regardless whether it's a 6-monthly or a 12-monthly inspection. And a couple of key things which has come out today is documentation. I think that the documentation has to be the first step when we're starting to inspect elevator work platforms. We follow the trace of you know, manufacturing documents, operator manuals, making sure they match the same machine which you're going to refer to. And then we focus on the certificate itself. So certainly we'd be looking for and searching for any previous certs, any deflections or any issues with previous inspections. And again, you know, the good chance what we have is to actually reach out to the manufacturers and ask questions. You can refer it back to you know, serial numbers, and certainly checking ownership, who owns the elevator work platform. So like I say, the key of the workshop, you know, the big takeaway is to certainly utilize these workshops for your own benefits as inspectors, and make sure that, you know, if we don't know, we reach out and ask. Just before I talk about our next session, we will send you a list of questions from today for everybody who's attended the session. Once we send the questions across to you, if you can please fill them out and return them back to us. We'll explain this everything through email, and then we will start the first step of your professional development, meaning CPD, that we will sign off then for every workshop which everyone attends. So, you know, like I say, it's a great opportunity to ask questions. The manufacturers are all here to help. What we're trying to minimise is any accidents, and any accidents of any failures, you know, whether we could have caught it from an inspection, or whether, if I call it a component, so whether a outrigger or stabilizer have failed, and so on. And the other thing is to think about your health and safety. As an inspector, you should carry out a risk assessment. We should also think where we are currently with COVID-19, still quite strong in our regions. So you must think about your approach then to the machine, in what area, and so on, sanitizing and so on. So certainly your health and safety is very important. And as Breeze and Phil has both mentioned regarding PPE, so make sure that you have the right tools to protect yourself. And I know Breeze spoke quite heavily about wind speeds. You know, as IPAF instructors, we insist that when carrying out training courses that the instructor has an anemometer with him so that he can demonstrate to students that wind does change, and if we get it wrong we run the risk of an incident. So certainly you know, the takeaway is to really sit back and think about your inspection and how we deliver it currently and how can we improve it. As I echo again, you know, the workshops are designed for all inspectors to gather more data and more knowledge and more information. So I hope that this is, you know, certainly heading towards giving you this chance of experience and knowledge. So I will just talk about our supporters, and then I'll move on to the next presentation, which will be later in October. Time is flying by already, I see, this year. So first of all, again, echoing, you know, certainly for today, thank you very much, JLG. It's been very interesting. As seeing the questions coming in, you know, we need more knowledge out in the field. We have a fantastic support from manufacturers. The manufacturers have been working very close with us, and you know, I can't echo this enough. The help and support from this tier has been fantastic. I'll talk to you in a second about the next presenter later in October, and again, you know, that the support from government entities. I know we stand alone as a federation and our goals are to reduce the risk of accidents, save lives and so on, but without government support it's impossible to get this message across. So again, Dubai Municipality, our friends in Abu Dhabi, QCC, Quality and Conformity Council, ENAS, and our friends also in PDO. So certainly, and OPAL, not forgetting OPAL. So thank you very much for your support, and certainly it shows and it goes a long way. Now this takes me into our next presentation, which will be later in October. I'm really pleased to have the presentation delivered by Jeannie Terex, Anthony Chasaleri, who is also a very highly skilled engineer, manager, certainly been in the field of elevating work platforms for a numerous amount of years, and like I say, same as the guys today, very, very well experienced. So I'm really pleased in terms of announcing Jeannie as our next supporter for the workshops. So again, we will mix the workshops with a variation of slide presentation, and we will add in some videos. Hopefully it's not too bumpy with the sound on the videos, with the audio, but as you can appreciate, live virtual events can be challenging at times. But in fairness, I think, you know, we've just got to look at the message which we send out, and that's to support the industry and certainly help the engineers in the field. So we will in that close today, and thank you very much for your time, and we will be in touch through email with questions and then working on your professional development, your CPD. So thank you very much, and that's goodbye from Dubai.